Then let me do some moderation since we are running the roundtable again. Today, roundtable number 19. We have April 9th, and we have Lukas Sliwka with us, CTO of Wax. Before we get into talking, tech update Q1 and Q2, we are close to report submissions for guidelines 5.7. I will repost the link just now in the governance channel. The submission timeline is in the guidelines. We await submissions to be done until end of day 15th of April. The upcoming tech reviews are noted on that same page. We will likely conduct the voting for the tech review today or tomorrow until 16 UTC. And then, of course, on this page, I'm taking notes of some of the discussions happening on public channels and some of the things we will need to discuss until we put out 5.8. So do me a favor and visit the guideline page and leave any feedback for the notes there so that we can discuss those topics on the next official roundtable in 2 weeks. Of course, I will also post the new guideline report submission template, which we created together, I think, on an unofficial roundtable. So we want to revisit how the reports are done, and we want to get them all in line on the same template. So there is an example guild report. I took some of Taco Crypto's details for this one. However, read it carefully, and I will leave this open until tomorrow, I think around noon. So another, or maybe also afternoon, another 24 hours. You can comment on it, leave some feedback on it if you happen to find any good improvements for this. Otherwise, we are expecting to receive the reports in this new format. We will have also time to revisit this during working out 5.8. So it's not final, but it includes the details we are looking for, and we think it can even improve our process of evaluating guilds. And that's it from the official agenda. So now we can get into the tech update Q1 and Q2. So Lukas, since we had you here in January, a lot of work has been done. I recently visited, for example, the Cloud Wallet, and I saw a lot of new features added over there. So yeah, please give us an update on the Q1 improvements made.
Sure. So let's start with maybe blockchain protocol type of work.
Mm-hmm.
Let me think. So we completed the tokenomics realignment that we've set out to do, and powerup is now fully deployed and supported. We're still working on wax blocks to make sure that there's better tools to support powerup, but I know that there are other tools out there to leverage that, along with also Cloud Wallet, which is great. We are seeing some level of fees being collected, and that offsets the inflation. And we've stopped adjusting any sort of protocol level parameters on chain. So we're gonna run like that for a while and see what happens. And again, the goal is to have these options for staking for resources, but also if you want a pay per transaction, that's also available. And then depending on the busyness of the chain, then we can start. We now have levers to essentially direct people either to one or the other. And again, the goal is for staking to be more of a super user type of a feature that is used by dApp operators, dApp creators, and then slowly start shifting regular users to powerup. So, and then funneling that against inflation. Hopefully, we can get the inflation down to 0, or maybe even to start burning tokens. So that's pretty much done, which I'm very happy about. And the next phase with tokenomics is going to be there is a component to tokenomics to the EVM L2 chain that we're going to be launching, original plan was to use waxp as a tokenomics token for that chain. Having said that, though, I've had some conversations with the people from the community and also internally, and we decided that as opposed to using waxp as a on-chain token, we're going to instead use Ethereum to completely remove any sort of friction from adoption, because we want to make sure that people who want to build on that L2, they don't have any friction associated with getting off waxp, and we can still connect tokenomics from that L2 with our main chain by gathering all the gas fees collected, and then we're going to be using that Ethereum. In Ethereum, we're going to then use that Ethereum to buy waxp on Uniswap pool that is sanctioned, and then send that wax across the bridge onto the mainnet and inject that into our tokenomics, the variable inflation tokenomics mechanism. So that's the plan, and that's what the team is working on.
Right.
And then speaking of L2, that work is ongoing. I'm not going to talk about partnerships yet because we're still in the process of negotiating all the legalities and paperwork that needs to be signed. But there's going to be an announcement this quarter in terms of what is the flavor of the L2 we're launching, and who the partnership is and all that good stuff. I think that everyone's going to be pleased. And then, that's going to expand the reach of Wax ecosystem into EVM with the support of the cloud wallet tools to have very easy bridging between that L2 and the mainnet. And also, we're going to be working with EVM partners to make sure that there is very good connectivity between the rest of the EVM space to that L2. And that should give us a very nice ecosystem for DeFi work, because I feel like the community is really telegraphing that we don't have enough DeFi in our space. So hopefully, migration of existing DeFi projects, or taking open source projects and migrating them and launching them onto that L2 is going to be much, much easier. So that's definitely a lot of work that's ongoing. Unfortunately, some of that stuff's been delayed just because the tech is a little bit wonky, and there's a sharp learning curve for our team to make sure that we get everything right there. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk about on the core protocol side is the Amazon partnership that we have in place now. So that Wax CDK is, I need to still double check, but it's supposed to be part of that sanctioned repo from Amazon, so it's much easier for people to essentially launch nodes using Amazon platform. It is understandable that the costs in comparison to, let's say, something like Hetzner or anything really direct hardware related is much higher. But the reality is that the friction to actually stand up APIs or start building in our ecosystem is reduced by that. And along the same lines, I am having conversations with node providers now to essentially say, hey, can you guys support developers to get like a free tier of the APIs and then potentially get like a paid version through their platforms. So that should further reduce friction to essentially build on our platform and stand up like a development environment. So that's the core protocol. I think the last thing is we did launch that Tic Tac Toe game tutorial, and we're going to continue doing these. The goal is to add to our developer portal these tutorials that walk you through specific use cases of like, how to build a game, how to deploy, a token that is a in-game token. How do you set up those rewards and how do you connect with the RNG, on-chain RNG system and all that stuff. Speaking of on-chain RNG, there's been some improvements made to that system as well in the last quarter, so that's worth noting. Hopefully we're not going to see as many issues anymore. Okay, and then moving on to Cloud Wallet, there's just constant work to improve quality of life. So there's, UX, UI experiments being run in terms of how to optimize the usage of that wallet. The team is heads down on releasing the mobile version, both on iOS and Android. They are working right now on mobile SDK and then adjusting the desktop wax.js implementation so that a user can elect to have all transactions or certain transactions, transactions from certain dApps that's going to be configurable. They can elect to receive these signing transactions on their mobile device. So the user experience there is like, let's say I'm on a desktop, I'm playing Alien Worlds, but anything that requires signing is going to show up on my phone, which is good quality of life improvement, and also opens the door for any sort of console game development, because now the new version of the Unity SDK that we're going to release is going to have that ability, which means that if you develop a game for console, then now you can offload any sort of Web3 type of friction away from that game and onto the cloud wallet, mobile cloud wallet on your phone, which should be pretty interesting. Quality of life improvement, and then we'll see what kind of utilization and usage this is gonna get. Definitely, we're gonna adopt that in our games that we're gonna be, the in-flight. So we're gonna be dog fooding that ourselves for sure. And then the last update is, the Vstrik marketplace that's gonna be dedicated to CSGO items or just the skins is close to being launched. We're still tweaking a couple of things, but it's been in development for a while, and I'm hoping to get that live in Q2. And then experiment with that in terms of, bringing users onto Wax and Maybe we even launch some sort of rewards token and kind of see if we can connect that to if we can connect it to the meme coin wave that we see. So there's some conversations about that as well. And I think that's the high level. Any questions on this, guys?
You know how it goes. Raise your hands. Zula. Yes, Zula is a representative of the Alcor Guild. It's your turn.
What's up, Zula?
Hey, Lucas, how are you doing? Can you hear me, guys?
Yes.
Give me a second. Okay. Sorry, I cannot turn on my camera, but I am very interested as a Counter-Strike player in the Vstrik marketplaces. I think everyone is aware of all the restrictions that Valve has imposed into this kind of trading with skins and the marketplace by itself. So I am wondering, and I am almost sure that if you guys are going towards this path, is because you have figured out a way, or maybe you know that this won't get you into any kind of trouble and will allow Vstrik to work for a long time, which is, I assume, the aim of everyone.
Yeah, is there a question there?
Yeah, I mean, are you aware of this situation, and are you sure that this won't cause any trouble within Valve for the Vstrik launch?
There are no guarantees. I am aware of the fact that Valve has been cracking down on skins trading. It is really the case for years now. Now we have in the past operated OP Skins marketplace, which was one of the most utilized marketplaces back in the day. So there's a lot of, I want to call it like an institutional knowledge on the team about this type of a business. You know, our goal is to utilize peer-to-peer trading as well as the on-site inventory system. But we have both, which means that if there are some restrictions, you know, we can always adapt and then respond to those type of market conditions. You know, do I have some sort of a secret sauce that no one knows about? I think that we just rely on our knowledge from years and years of actually doing this.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you so much for the response, man. I may ask just one little thing. I joined the call later on. Maybe you already said it. Is there any time, I mean, ETA for the native app for the MyCloud wallet?
Yeah, so I wanted to release it this quarter, and the team is right now working on the mobile SDK and then adjusting the existing wax.js integration pattern so that the integrators can actually use the Cloud Wallet and target signing within the Cloud Wallet. So the app has been ready, but you know, I don't want to release the app without good integration being in place. So it actually can be utilized by the applications as opposed to just having a mobile viewer of your stuff, right?
Sounds good. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
I think next in line is Anders, probably asking for Cloud Wallet on testnet.
No, that's been promised for years. No, that's not the question. I'm curious about the Amazon partnership, if there are more plans to expand on that.
Yeah. So speaking of Wax Wallet on testnet, I did forget to mention that there is also a lot of work happening on Cloud Wallet to support sidechains, and first of the and that's just kind of internal classification of this, but you know, being able to go to Cloud Wallet and select a sidechain that you want to the Cloud Wallet to operate on with the drop down. So that is the first release of that first version of that is going to essentially support our testnet. So you will be able to go to Cloud Wallet and then select which chain you want to operate on. And as part of that, we are putting together a pattern that we will then work with OIGs on to essentially allow new sidechains to be stood up by teams and then registered. There's going to be a on-chain sidechain registry, and there's going to be a process that will have to be community managed and OIG managed to essentially allow a sidechain to be included in that registry. Once that sidechain is included in the registry, then the Cloud Wallet will automatically support it, and that sidechain will show up on the dropdown. But
awesome.
But that is something that we'll start having discussions about this quarter. With the I want to make sure that the Cloud Wallet tech supports that first. Starting with the testnet, which is going to be a good quality of life improvement for everyone, I think. And then as far as the Amazon partnership, the next step is really to expand this to include Wax in the managed blockchain part of the AWS console. I would love to see Wax being there. As part of that, we are also we're part of the solutions provider network for Amazon. So we are registered, and if there are projects coming that want to build on blockchain/Wax, then we are that team that can guide these projects and teams to essentially how to do it and connect them with our ecosystem.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. So I have a question to the configurable chain ID in the Cloud Wallet. Will it support only Wax and Wax related networks, or is there any plan to support Antelope in general?
There is, that's possible, but I don't have any plans for now to support out of Antelope chains.
All right. Yeah. To the audience, don't be shy. If you want to know anything, want to share anything, now is the time. Nick Custos asked, have the ORNG Wax issues been resolved? Yes, that was answered, right? So what is the whitelist process on the contracts? What does it look like at the moment?
They can just reach out to you guys on the OIG side, or just try to ping me on Telegram.
Okay.
And if you're not whitelisted, there is just a lower amount of bandwidth that you get. If you're whitelisted, then the process works as it did in the past. But the idea is that you should be thinking about registering your project as a payer for these type of transactions.
All right. I see we have Lisa Chandler with a question. Lisa
Hi.
is very active with the Alien Worlds community.
What's up, Lisa?
How you doing?
Good.
Good to see you. Several of us are very involved in evolving this concept of a community-built metaverse. And we're doing quite a few things on Wax. One of the most exciting things is AI characters and bringing the NFTs to life. And we just got approval from Galactic Hubs to bring the Gray Peacemaker to life. And we have a little video that's amazing, just as a teaser. But I think this is really exciting for Wax. And we have some brands in Hollywood that want them as soon as we can scale them. And we've just spoken with the platform who's going to support us in doing this. And so we're super excited to share that news. Along those lines, as more people are connecting to us, and as we're reaching out, we have a lot of connections in nonprofits as well as entertainment. I'm trying to understand the best way to position Wax and development to people who don't know about it and who don't have like the development team that maybe like a game development team might have right now to understand how to connect to Wax. So if we're speaking with a nonprofit organization, you know, let's say like 20 million a year in revenue and above, or an entertainment brand that's evaluating different platforms for engagement, how could we approach them getting involved and getting support from a development standpoint? Any suggestions?
Well, I think that the first stop would be the developers channel and speaking with OIG and us, because depending on the size of a project, depending on the complexity, we can definitely recommend certain teams or help create a team, or maybe even do it ourselves, depending on what it is, right? Because if this is if there is a project that is big enough and it's got enough traction and it could put a lot of eyes on our ecosystem, then you know, that's very different than, let's say, someone who is just experimenting and you know, they're not necessarily doing anything that's of huge exposure, right? So the response to that is going to be very different from our team. But I would say that I would start with introductions, maybe a discussion with our team or OIG about who they are, what they're planning to do, why this is valuable, and then we can always take it from them to help.
You know, I think because so many of the organizations don't understand what, or have any comprehension of what they could do, they aren't even able to say this is a project we would do, but they have a lot of money. So it seems like there's an opportunity there. We were thinking maybe of doing like an online conference this fall to invite organizations to show different ways of engagement and brainstorm different things we could do, and invite the different audiences like the IT people and the fundraisers, the marketing people, the lawyers, the volunteer people, stuff like that, and show them different examples. So anyway, that we're thinking about it, and if you have any suggestions now or in the future,
we can help with that, and we can maybe work with you guys on messaging in terms of like what would be the value proposition, and then what are the different use cases that you know are applicable. But you know, we need to think about it from a perspective of like, what would be a good example? Mm-hmm. Well, let's say think about like cloud computing, right? You've got AWS, you've got Google, you've got Oracle, you've got Amazon. They all have different Google platforms, and you can build a whole bunch of different stuff with it, right? I think about blockchain platforms in a similar way, where it's like, you know, you have a computing platform of certain type, and then you can build a whole bunch of stuff with it. Now, what is that stuff? I guess we can get very specific about what is possible and what blockchain is applicable for, to better explain to people. So maybe that sort of messaging would be worthwhile going through.
For sure. But having sessions on that helps the professionals to feel like they're educated, so they can go request budgets. And those budgets can be to scope. They'll pay for a year of scoping, which is what we really need, you know. So that would be great to offer those things. And we're getting the feedback. Like I had an entertainment person tell me, I didn't understand crypto, but I get the characters with AI. That makes sense to me. I said, well, good news, crypto is behind it, right? Like that's how you log in. That's how you have access by your NFT, which is unique by the number. That's how you have, you get your points for your bounties that you do when you're talking to the character and can play different things. So they understand that. So there's like all of a sudden excitement about it. And so that's a good signal, I think. So I've sold to about 30,000 nonprofits in the past. I thought we'd start with like 3,000 to 5,000, inviting them. It's mostly the fundraisers, and they have their own, as much as like crypto has their own secret code, they have their own way of talking about things too. So but yeah, I'm coming to all the meetings to learn as much as I can to prepare and help, you know, bring the community members together.
That's a very interesting I guess angle to look at this, Lisa, and I'm always available for any sort of calls or discussions. If you want to get on a Zoom call or this Google Meet and discuss, we can definitely schedule some time. Additionally, what I wanted to say is that, you know, a Kickstarter like platform that is using NFTs to represent fractional ownership or participation in the project and funding is a use case that's perfect for blockchain, right? Because then these fractional ownerships as NFTs can be traded on secondary marketplaces, and you know, there are kind of a version of a viral use case. So I am surprised that no one has really built a blockchain-based competitor to something like Kickstarter, with crypto assets being used and given to participants, right? So that's something that that's something that also could be built as a business by someone, right?
The bounties game is similar to that, by Rally Studios. It's just, it has like 24 players right now, but they create what they want. So in that way, it's kind of like Kickstarter, but there's no interface yet to say what they want. They just tell us right now. But the smart contract exists, and they get rewards and are completing projects. So it's proof of concept, but we're integrating it into this map system where, based on what land you own, you can add buildings, and the shops will actually be there, and you can go there and do stuff.
But this could be much simpler, right? I mean, no worries. I mean, I think this could be much simpler. I talked at the very beginning about, you know, being able to reading the room and seeing where the I guess momentum is, right? So the momentum right now with this bull market cycle is in meme coins. So having, for example, having a Kickstarter-like system where people can come in and you know, try to get funding for their website, for their projects, right? But the resulting fractional ownership of that for that project is, for example, a meme coin that people get, right? And having a system that allows that meme coin to be promoted and cross-chain adoption and all that stuff. I mean, you're now using crypto system to try to get funding for a project, but you're also plugging into meme coin wave that's happening, right? So that would be an interesting use case to explore, because now you're kind of marrying a concept of having a nice meme coin launcher, and that also has to come obviously with community building and with all the social stuff that needs to be associated with that. But now you're also giving a chance for projects to get funding that way for whatever they're building.
I want to jump in and take a second to highlight waxdao.io, a product built by Mike D from waxdao, and he has this tool has it all. Like, you can create your token through that platform, you can lock up the liquidity, you can have some token vesting, you can even create some DAOs in which you can participate through the token keys. So it has a lot of functionality that you can already use to build some of the stuff that was requested.
Well, it's all the building blocks are there, right? The problem is UX and the user experience, right? If I'm a project that tries to get funding, if I come here, there's, you know, I'm totally lost, especially if I come from the outside of the industry. So I'm talking about building tools like Kickstarter, where it's very, very easy for people to come in and just kind of get it, like a wizard or whatever. Behind the scenes, all these tools can be used. And
100% correct.
Anyways, it's just an idea that it's a path that could be explored by people as a business. You know, like I said, I think you can build a lot of different businesses on top of Wax. It's a very flexible platform, and it's just a matter of experimentation and actually trying different things. I do wanna also talk about a little bit what's going on with this bull run cycle. It's very important to understand that meme coins are the thing that's driving this particular wave. It's not NFTs. It's not, you know, NFT staking. It's not the original DeFi that we saw back in like 2019, 2020. You know, meme coins are really the craze, right? So if you guys think about it, you know, if you are thinking about building something, if you're thinking about experimenting and creating new type of things, new value propositions on Wax, then, you know, connecting to that wave and figuring out how to leverage that cross chain is an interesting thing to do. We have, because of the bridges, because of our platform and interconnectivity, you know, you can actually build and connect to other ecosystems as well, which is pretty important. And there are some projects that are well positioned for this particular wave, like for example, all the different versions and flavors of DeFi projects that we have, like Alcor and WaxDAO and others. You know, they are in a perfect position because they have the infrastructure and know-how to experiment with meme coins on Wax and meme coins that are on Wax and other ecosystems as well.
Okay, we have Juan from NFTblocks with a question.
Yes, hello, Lucas.
What's up,
my
dude?
question, yeah, hello, yes. My question basically is that if you visit Wax's website right now, the first thing you see is that it's the best place for gaming and NFTs. Are you guys planning on rebranding this or doing something to open this and make it so that when people visit Wax website, they have the impression that it's not only for gaming and NFTs, but we can do whatever they want here?
I don't have a plan to redesign the website. We do want to add more to the use cases. You know, I think that yeah, I mean, I agree with you. We can definitely expand the offering that we have on the main site to include other use cases, which kind of links with what Lisa said about having better education. But yeah, I'll definitely talk to the team about it.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Ben, you raised your hand. Next.
Yes. Hey.
Hey, Ben.
Hey, since we're talking about bringing meme coins to Wax, it kind of sounds easier than it probably is. How would we even start doing that? I mean, it's probably not that easy to launch Woofy, for example. Probably need a lot of resources and connections. I'm just wondering, like, if we want to bring this stuff to Wax, like, what can we actually do? What are do you have any suggestions or?
Yeah, I would first try to familiarize myself with all the different communities and how they work. So, you know, take a couple $100, get on Solana or Base, you know, buy some meme coins, join their telegrams, see how all that stuff works, how these communities are formed and managed, and learn about that as much as possible. That's probably a good first step to see how these different communities work. And then as you're part of that, then you're gonna start seeing patterns in terms of, you know, how these things are implemented, what kind of tools are used, and then you'll also see the different players in terms of dexes and you know, there are steps that you can follow. There's also a lot of materials now on YouTube and online on this particular subject. So I would just start with education, and then, you know, being part of that, like I said, just take a couple $100 and invest in some of these projects and join their communities and just kind of see how that works.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I'm just thinking. I have some. I tested it a little bit. I got airdrops as well. The worry that I have is just, that these projects, don't they have a lot of initial liquidity and marketing funds that probably projects on Wax, like even us BPs, don't necessarily.
They don't. I mean, the funny thing is that a lot of projects they start with very little, and the teams are very small. That's the funny thing is. The funny thing about the meme coin craze right now, it's not any different from what the NFT craze was in the last cycle. A lot of these teams that they were launching these different projects and airdrops and all that stuff started small, and as the craze progressed and as more and more liquidity came in and as more and more people started participating in these projects, then you started to see more and more whales, right, with bigger pockets, bigger teams, more resources, and the pattern repeats itself. It seems that this time around, you know, that this is what's driving the next wave, and whether this particular wave is going to have any sort of staying power, and you know, we also need to recognize that a lot of that stuff is you know, it's essentially gamified gambling. I mean, let's just be honest here, right? But people seem to like it. I mean, it seems like the crypto industry is very much focused on that. So.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Olaf is reporting that he is playing with it and he created a test one.
Yeah.
And I would not be surprised if he just follow-ups this message with it had a market cap of 10 million after 1 day.
Yeah. So listen, I mean, like I said, if you go online and start researching this topic, if you join the communities, within probably a couple of days, you can create your own list of steps that you need to go through in order to launch a project, set up set up all the social, set up all the tech, and the main thing is like, how do you do it in a way so there is actual some sort of utility to it, and there is something behind it, because most of these projects are probably going to be rug pulls, which, by the way, it's not any different from what was happening with NFTs last cycle with a lot of projects too, right? So like, if you look at the patterns and at least the way I see it, right, I see that same people who were participating in the initial DeFi, where they were trying to make crazy returns on staking tokens and having these staking platforms and then so that was one wave. Then the second wave was NFTs, and a lot of these the same guys, the same wallets, same liquidity moved into those. Now the same people moved into meme coins, and they're now very much playing on Solana and Base. But that doesn't mean that there isn't a path for you guys to experiment with this trend and do some sort of wax/cross-chain projects as well.
All right. A last one from my side, and then time's over. So we in the Discord, there was a message that the Solana bridge was delayed for a few more days, right?
Yeah, we are still going through security audit. There are some issues that were found that we need to address. So I'm not going to commit to the date. We are going, like I said, the team is working on it. We are going back and forth with our auditors, making sure that everything's tightened up. But the bridge is in the works, and it will launch when it launches.
All right. Then let's call it for today. Thank you very much for sparring at our roundtable, Lukas. Always nice to have you here. Unfortunately,
good to talk to you guys.
We have another one. Artem from CryptoLines just raised his hand.
Oh, it was accidentally I planned to clap this emoji.
All right, I got you.
Okay.
Then,
cool, guys.
Thanks,
all
everyone.
Right, guys.
Take care.
Thank you, Lukas.
Thank you.
And talk to you next week.
See ya. Yeah.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.